All right, I think we are beginning to stream. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to SCP Acquisition, Part 2 of The Box. Now, go watch the first box, figure out what we're up to. And today, Sarah has some bad news about her partner. Do you want to tell? Do you want to tell him, Sarah?
Yeah, unfortunately, Chris had some stuff come up the past week or two. Things haven't been going so great for him. He
You don't have to say what happened to him. It's just but he apologizes for not being here.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Life is life, and it happens. So he's going to be reduced to an NPC in the background, and we are going to be continuing on with the box. Now, if I remember correctly, where we left off was we all just tried to get into this room, to get into this
chest.
The chest.
Unsuccessfully. And
what did you just do? Ah! What did you do, Sarah?
I moved my cat.
The cat is causing problems.
Why is your cat causing problems? Well, I guess cats just do that. So, wait, are you continually doing that?
Doing what?
I keep getting teleported back here.
You did that to me, because here I am.
Okay, come back over here. Oh, I see what's going on. Freaking chicken! The chicken was teleporting us back.
You're the one that brought the chickens into it.
Yeah, this was my fault.
I should have stayed in the box.
You should have just stayed in the box. Now there's tons of chickens. Anyway, we're going to continue on. So, we failed.
And I believe that Sarah's character was influenced by the box.
See?
I can't remember your name.
Brenna.
Okay.
Don't worry, he gets names eventually at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
And of course we have Mr. Gabriel.
You'd think someone that invents all kinds of crazy names all the time would be good at remembering them, but
Of course we have Mr. Gabriel. I think I picked that color. I really don't care.
I'll just place what's his face.
And you had your little robot dog.
Yes, he is currently hooked up to the computer in the room.
So he's here on the computer.
The little dog, you sent a little microphone and camera underneath the door to look at the box. Saw that it was unlocked.
Which was already suspicious enough.
And then the little dog went nuts. But you hadn't figured out why the little dog went nuts. And I think that's kind of where you left off.
Yeah, I had planned kind of go over the data in his logs and see what sensors been tripped. But I think we stopped right before that.
And what was Chris's character's name?
Maxwell.
And he had a drinking flaw, right?
Yeah, he's no. Yeah, he's alcoholic. You also have a drinking flaw, but it's caffeine.
Yeah. Well, he discovered the local pub in Staresbourne.
Actually, it turns out it's a really nice pub.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of people buying him drinks.
The one thing, which by the way, a very quick thing, we quickly went over the box and everything, so go back and watch the box part 1. But my name is TJ, that's Tim, and Sarah, and we are the Table Candle, and if you're 13 years or younger, get the fuck out of here. Now.
Well, since this is Minecraft, that's probably exactly the age group you're attracting.
Actually, there's quite a lot. Well, me and Sarah, we're pretty older. We grew up with Minecraft.
Yeah, you grew up with Minecraft, and the 13-year-olds of today are growing up with Minecraft.
Yeah.
I remember sitting at college as Minecraft first came out. Holy crap!
It's so cool though. Anyway.
I needed that reminder of
Yeah, my kids used to like it.
descent into age.
I don't know if they play it anymore. I never hear them talk about it, but I mean, once upon a time they liked it.
Anyway, so he's off on the pub, which, by the way, a very interesting thing about the pub. Nobody knows why, but there is a donkey's ass that's hung up on the wall. Nobody knows why.
And it's a real donkey's ass.
Yep.
We'll just say he's off gathering intel.
Yeah, he's getting intel on the ass. That's his thing. He's like, too spooky here. Gonna go figure out more about the ass.
Well, the main thing he discovered is that the people are just too friendly, and they really enjoy buying outsiders drinks to see how fast they can get them totally toasted.
Oh jeez.
So his wall is taking him, which is very sad. Anyway, I guess we sleep and it's the next morning? Or are we still at night?
It's still at night. It's up to you if you want to sleep or if you want to continue investigating.
Well, you see Mr. Gabriel looking at his door, which is very small compared to him. He then looks at you.
And Brenna she's suddenly got the idea in her head that she really, really needs to see what's inside that box. It rolled crap on the other two of you, but it rolled well against her.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Gabriel just looks at you, and you can see in his eyes, he's like, I really don't want to go to bed right now, but I am tired. Like, that's kind of the sense you're getting from him.
Well, good night. And she, just kind of turns around and runs back into her room.
Mr. Gabriel kind of, watches you do this. He then goes to the door and he busts the door open by accident. You just hear a horrible rending sound. You hear a sigh. And when you look back, the door is kind of put back where it was. He accidentally tore it off the hinges.
I'm gonna start going over the video footage then.
Alright, you are in your room with the little robot dog, and you start going over the video footage, and you find out that when your little robot dog went berserk, apparently at the time that he was going berserk, it was at the time all your video files that you'd just taken had been fried.
Which is no good.
So you took video of the box, but then the video was fried. Apparently the box doesn't like having its picture taken.
Yeah.
Well, considering...
Good idea, too. Oh, crap. Okay, so...
And if no one asked the question, but if someone had asked Professor Lenz why there were no security cameras in the room, he would have told you it's because they do no good, because every time he takes the video out to look at it, it's been totally ruined.
So this SCP definitely has a
definitely a sentience there of some sort.
Yep. Things are just starting to pile up on this thing. That's enough for it to be classified as an SCP, but now we need to figure out
how to contain it.
And
how to protect it.
Well,
or
protecting
protect
is easy.
Or protect other people from it.
Yep.
He's got it contained. He spent a lot of money to keep it contained, but from the looks of what he's got, if someone truly were determined enough, they could get at it and it wouldn't be contained anymore.
Right.
Which is no good.
I mean, the door is expensive. It's reinforced. No one's going to break it down. And the lock is complex. But these things can be bypassed by someone who has resources and ingenuity and determination.
So, Sarah, that just included you in that bill.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Gabriel went to sleep, correct?
Mr. Gabriel's in his room, but he's currently looking out at the forest. And
Okay.
he's just kind of like standing looking out at the forest, kind of like thinking like, And he's just kind of like going, man, I haven't been out of the States for a while. Maybe I should go to the pub and get... Nah, probably a bad idea. I'd end up starting a brawl and killing somebody.
Jeez.
He understands his strength. He has a hard time controlling it. So he's actively staying away from the pub.
Not to mention his co-workers there probably possibly singing karaoke in the nude or who knows what by now.
Yep.
Because he's probably been bought quite a few free drinks by this time.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you go tap on his door?
No, actually, I'm going to try and sneak past.
Okay. Tim, I know we're up in the mountains, but is there a television in my room?
Mm-hmm. You have all the modern comforts in the hotel. Maximilian Lenz is the guy that owned it, and he's been a professor at the University of Berlin, so he's not a backwoods hick. I mean, he's a pretty sophisticated modern guy.
So, as you walk by, Sarah, you do hear some foreign thing on the television, and you do hear Mr. Gabriel just muttering under his breath. He's going, "Oh God, I'm trying to follow this thing." You can kind of tell he's looking through his little translator book, and he's trying his hardest
To watch TV.
And brush up on his thing. Brush up on his language.
Okay, I'm gonna pause and out of character. He is straight adorable, and he's like a sunshine child, and I don't want anything to happen to him. But
Who's that?
I digress.
Mr. Gabriel?
Yeah, she likes Mr. Gabriel. I make great characters.
He does make some... He has come up with some really good characters.
Adorable.
Mm.
But anyway, I'm going to sneak downstairs. Well, not like sneak. I'm sneaking out of my room so that he doesn't hear me, but once I'm downstairs, I'm going to kind of relax a little bit.
Okay.
Alright, so you're going downstairs?
To the lobby?
Yeah.
Alright, you're going down. I'm following you, by the way, because unless you get him, he is not coming with you. So, because he's busy trying to learn, and he thinks you're in your room.
Okay. So who is in the lobby currently? Like, what time is it really?
It is about 10:30 at night.
Okay.
The heavy-set, homely girl that spoke no English that was named Ada is not there.
Okay, she's
Apparently
not here.
her shift is gone. Instead, there is an old man, small, kind of shrunken, hunched over.
What color wool do you want, Tim?
No, make it white.
Alright, where do you want him?
Behind the counter.
Behind the counter?
Where Ada had been.
Alright.
Now, this old man, if you had to guess, you'd probably say he's somewhere in his 70s. He's kind of hunched over. He's maybe 5'5", 5'6", maybe 125 pounds. Very small, very skinny. He's got the look of a guy who has spent a lot of his life outdoors. His skin kind of looks like shoe leather, and his hair has got that sun-bleached coloration to it. So you take it that he spent most of his life probably as some sort of an outdoorsman, maybe a farmer.
Cool.
Okay.
And he's behind the desk, and he looks up at you, smiles, doesn't say anything. He has all of his teeth, which is strange for a man this age.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of just walk up and be like, "Hello, grandfather. I'm looking for Professor Maximilian. Do you know where he's at currently?"
You see, he holds up one finger, pulls a couple of what look like small books out of from under the counter. You see the first book he looks at, he opens it up, and you see it says French and Francias underneath of it. It's a book on the French language. He shakes his head, puts it down. The next book he picks up, has the word Espanol on it. He shakes his head, puts it down, then picks up one that says English. And he starts looking through and then says, hello. So he speaks no English, and he's using, kind of like Mr. Gabriel, he's got a book with language, some books with languages, so that he's trying to communicate with you.
As best as he can.
As best as he can.
Okay.
See, this is how you do languages in a role-playing game. Nobody can fucking understand each other.
You're in a town that's kind of locked in time, so you got to consider that a lot of the people who've lived here, especially a long time, probably don't speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so I spend the next couple of minutes helping him construct my proper English into whatever his language is.
I say that's a role.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
Languages, it uses intelligence.
So basically, my question is, where is Professor Maximilian's office?
And the answer you get is he tells you that the office is locked at this time of night because the professor has gone home for the evening.
And my guess is your role basically in languages, you were able to get through to him because she rolled 16, and what do you add for your intelligence?
Yeah.
She beat it with a 16.
Oh, she beat it with a 16?
15 was the number she had to top.
Well, that's good, because I think my intelligence has a -1.
Oh dear.
She's a researcher that's with low intelligence.
Yes.
Does she? Oh, she works for the government, so to speak. So I guess it makes sense.
Wow. You know what? That's not wrong, but.
But at the same time,
Where she is because she's had just experience after experience with like SCPs. Like it's just kind of a running thing for her. I can't get in the door. There we go. Okay, so it's locked. Okay.
So you're able to find out that he's left for the evening, and you apparently are a lot better at this language thing than Mr. Gabriel is, who's really trying his hardest.
Who's the yellow block?
Me.
You're the yellow block?
Yes.
I thought your character was the one standing there.
Oh no, that's me moving around.
Yeah, what's the yellow block that's just standing there in front of the white block?
It's kind of.
No. The pillar of yellow blocks was representing her. She's not going to stand exactly where they are all the time.
All right.
This is like if we need to like go make a roll or something, you at least know.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was a placeholder basically.
Yeah, it's basically her token.
That's just me not understanding how Minecraft works.
It's okay.
That's fine.
The important thing is you're learning.
I've been doing tabletops for 41 years. I've never gotten the interest in video games.
Okay, so I'm gonna thank Grandfather, and I'm gonna kind of go up to my room for about maybe another like 2 hours or so, and then I'm gonna make my way back down and try and find the office.
All right. Does Mr. Gabriel do anything during those 2 hours? Or does he give up on his languages and go to bed?
Busy watching television, learning languages. Can I make a language roll? Just kind of like continue working on languages, just to be like how well am I actually doing in my language learning?
I'm gonna make a roll and see if your difficulty is gonna be harder than hers was.
Ooh, I rolled a 6. Well, I add a 5, so 11.
You are not grasping this language thing at all.
Oh god, this language is really hard. Why? Why is this language hard? He gives up in frustration. He goes, maybe I'll have better luck in the morning. He goes, brushes his teeth, and then he goes to bed.
He breaks the toothbrush off in his mouth.
Oh dear. And he kind of hangs off the bed.
The fact is that I don't want to exclude him, but I don't want to, like, have him break the door and it be obvious that we broke into the room.
Hey, this is role-playing. I don't mind. This is basically what my character is. He was said, okay, we're going to deal with this in the morning. The other one is off drunk.
And your character is literally the textbook description of a big oaf. I mean, yeah, he breaks everything without meaning to.
Mm-hmm.
His size makes him monumentally clumsy.
Like, that's the beauty of here. Any other system, what did I give him for strength? 2? Any other system would be like, okay, you have a strength of 2. Yeah, you're not strong at all. But the idea is, yeah, he's so strong, all his failures end up destroying whatever he's working on. So that's the idea. It's comical strength.
Okay.
So,
Poppy!
what do you do, Sarah? Ball's in your court. Mr. Gabriel's gone to bed.
What time is it currently? Because I'm just kind of killing time.
It's
About
midnight.
12. It's a little after midnight.
A little after midnight?
Because you said wait 2 hours.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to kind of... well, I'm going to sneak. I'm not a sneaky character, but I'm going to try and sneak.
Okay, she is trying to sneak where?
What is your character good at? Everything you're saying she's not good at.
Well, this is a commoner game.
Yeah.
I am in the middle of BFE. I'm good at, like, tech stuff and knowledge and stuff like that. My partner's the sneaky one, and he's off getting shit-faced. So.
He's no longer getting shit-faced. He is well and truly shit-faced.
So I am pulling double duty here.
Wait, hold on. Just to kind of indicate, this is the bar.
There's lots of really raucous singing coming from the bar right now.
He's gonna end up on his ass outside. That's great.
That's where he's going to end up. On basically lying down in front in a puddle of his own puke. Remember, kids, don't drink and drive.
So next time you hear from him, you'll have to tell him he spent episode number 2 of the box in the bar being bought free drunk until he passed out in his own puke.
I fucking hate the motorcycles, man. I actually contacted the sheriff and am trying to get a speed camera set here. Because they just fly through here. Endangering people.
And they're so loud.
So there you go, Internet. We are actually actively trying to... Why are there spiders on here? Get off.
No. Big spiders.
Big freaking spiders. Get off of here. Die. Okay, so... Sarah's trying to sneak, so make your sneak roll. Oh, another 16.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, she did. She beat the 15 again.
Hey.
Once again, 15 was the number to beat.
Okay, so I sneak off to the office.
You sneak back downstairs. As you're sneaking through the lobby, his office is on the other side of the lobby from the desk. You see that the old man is still at the desk. And make an awareness check.
Okay. Back out the door I go.
I was just quickly making an office. You never said I had to build an office, Tim.
That's because there wasn't an office originally. I hadn't thought of it, but it seemed like a good idea when you brought up the office.
14 plus 6 is 20.
You notice the old man is at the desk. At first, he looks like he's snoozing, but he appears to be looking through a book. And the book that he's looking through looks like some sort of an old photo album. And as he turns the page, you happen to see scrawled on the side of the page that he turns it says Great McDuck. And if you remember, the name Great McDuck was the name of the magician who originally brought the trunk to Stairsborn back in the very early 50s.
Oh.
Do you remember that from the debriefing?
Yeah, I remember. It's the Great McDuck's magic trunk thing that has this majigget inside.
Which, by the way, in all reality, just speaking here, I'm glad everybody else remembered that. I did not remember that. I'm glad you remember that.
It's right here on my notes, so now that I have my notes, I couldn't help but remember it.
And I have great information retention, which is why I was able to pick out, obscure SCP files and stuff. That's why I played with this character.
Right, so what do you do now with this sudden bit of knowledge that you have?
Okay, I'm going to continue to the office because I'm not going to waste a sneak roll. I'll come back to...
Right, you go into the office. Yeah. It's a small office, and there's not a whole lot there. He doesn't seem to have personalized it very much like a lot of people do with their offices with pictures. And he has one small potted plant, one small bookshelf, an very old-fashioned DOS computer, and that's about all that's in the office. And there's a small filing cabinet in the corner.
Alright, Brenna kind of cracks her fingers and she's going on the computer.
Alright. She goes on the computer.
Right, you go on the computer, and what are you doing?
I'm looking for any information, any extra information regarding this trunk and where the key might be kept, if I can glean any information off of that.
Well, you do find a file that is labeled the box, but it appears that there is a passcode on it.
There's the DOS computer. Man, it's so freaking cramped in here.
Okay, so
there is it appears that there is a password to get into this particular file. He's got it protected.
Alright, so I have tech, but would I need a more specific check to get into there? Because what I want to do is I want to hack the computer.
I say that's definitely a check.
Well, yeah, I know it's a check, but I just didn't know if it's going to be like a standard, just tech roll, or should I roll something more specific, like hacking?
Yeah, what skill is she rolling, Tim?
She would probably have to do, it would probably be a hacking. Because she's got to try to find out a way past a password.
Yeah, because it's not hardware, it's
software.
Yeah.
Oh, not bad. You're rolling good tonight.
Yeah.
What'd she roll?
I
don't see
Bottom
it.
left-hand side.
Where is it? I see whispers or something.
Whispers, and there's always a number, 12. See?
Oh. Is that the total number? Is that what she was that with her modifiers?
No. So 12, and what's your modifier for hacking?
I don't have hacking.
Oh.
Currently.
So...
I was
hacking takes intelligence, so add your intelligence bonus. You don't, because everyone can make a skill check. It just matters if you understand it or not.
So 11.
You do not get past the password.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Oh, that sucks.
At least you try the first time, and it says access denied.
I should get one. I'm gonna try one more time. I don't want to do it too many times because I don't want it to lock me out because I don't know how often you can.
I say 3 times and it's locked, and then the person will know that someone's been rooting around.
Right.
13.
So 12.
Access denied.
Probably best. Then again, I'm not there. What you gonna do?
I'm gonna leave it be. So, you said there's a filing cabinet, right?
Yep.
Alright, I'm gonna go through the filing cabinet.
Filing cabinet is about 4 feet high, and it's got 3 drawers on it.
So, right, that's the filing cabinet right here.
Okay. Alright, so...
I just blocked us in.
This office is really getting cramped.
Right. Here, I'll just stand where I'm at. Not on it. I want to look for...
Which drawer do you open?
There's 3 drawers.
There's 3 drawers on the filing cabinet. 1 being the top drawer, 2 being the middle drawer, 3 being the bottom drawer.
Go in the bottom drawer, because if I was trying to keep something from, being public view, I'd want it in the most inaccessible place possible. So I squat down and go through the bottom drawer.
You go through the bottom drawer, and you see the bottom drawer is mostly empty. There are a few brochures, and then there are 3 folders, all of which have something written in what appears to be German on them. In the very back of the drawer, you see there is like a metal firebox, which is locked. You know the fireboxes that people have, they put documents that in the box can survive a fire or anything else. It's one of those, sort of a little mini safe, and it is locked.
Okay, I'm gonna nab that. Probably should have looked before I did this, but like I said, I'm not normally the sneaky one, so there are not any cameras in here, are there?
Make a search check.
Probably should have checked that before.
Probably.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh yeah! Oh! Hot diggity daffodils! A natural 19.
There is a camera in here. It is in the top corner, directly opposite the filing cabinet. Corner of the ceiling, directly opposite the filing cabinet.
Damn it.
Are you gonna check?
I'm gonna do a tech roll. I want to see if I can corrupt the video file.
Right, make your tech roll.
+4 is 17.
Right, you check out the camera and realize there's no reason to try to corrupt anything. It seems it's been some time since he actually loaded any sort of film into it. It's a camera that's basically there just for show. He hasn't actually been using it, and it looks like it's been some time since it's actually seen use. So he's kind of gotten a bit lazy when it comes to security in his office.
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take the lockbox then, and I'm going to make my way back up to Mr. Gabriel's room.
Oh, now we can use Mr. Gabriel's colossal clumsiness to try to break the box open. By accident, completely.
Well, I don't want to break it, but he had lockpicks on him, so...
They did have lockpicks.
Alright.
Because,
Alright, you come out of the office and you see the old man has fallen asleep. He's in the chair with his head leaned all the way backwards, snoring loudly with the photo album spread open on the desk in front of him.
Okay, I'm gonna try and grab that photo album while I'm at it.
Alright, make a check.
I'm getting brazen here. A sneaky grab.
Oh.
Hi!
Ooh. So 6 plus what?
1 for... Wait, dexterity, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so... 7.
You successfully pick up the book off the desk, but then unfortunately, trying to hold the safe in one hand and the book in the other, you drop the safe with a heavy clunk on the floor.
1 second. I just have to quickly hear something.
Quickly hear something.
I just want to make sure that Sarah's been actually being able to hear this entire time.
I hear it.
Well, that's you.
Can they hear me?
Hold on. Yeah, you're barely heard, but you are heard. I was just making sure. Just make sure you speak up.
Yeah, I hear her fine.
Oh yeah, no, it's. I'm making sure the microphone is picking her up.
Okay. Yeah, the safe falls to the floor. You pick up the photo album, but trying to juggle both the photo album in one hand and the safe in the other. The safe slips out of your fingers and drops to the floor with a heavy clunk.
Oh no!
Does he wake up?
He does not wake up.
Oh,
He apparently is a pretty sound sleeper. He shifts in his chair so that his head rolls to one side into a more comfortable position. He smacks his lips a few times, says something in his own language, muttering and mumbling, and then begins to snore again.
Okay.
He rolled he rolled even more poorly than you did.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I carefully grab both the book and the safe and hightail it back.
You now hear something. Just outside the lobby, just outside the inn, you can hear the sound of someone singing very, very loudly and very, very drunkenly.
Oh boy. This is what happens when you don't get to game night. You see, and this is a philosophy for anybody, and for anybody who's watching. Just have this philosophy with your games, especially. It can be Hero Builder or any other RPG, but mostly Hero Builder. As long as there's 2 people and they come on time and ready to play, just play the game. Fine, go ahead and make excuses for everybody else about where they are, but ultimately just play the game because you're all going to have a fun time. And don't worry about making sure everybody gets there. Of course, you should be there for every session, but sometimes life happens.
And we're not going to kill you off because you're not there.
Right. That'd just be mean.
We might be kind of mean and funny with your character like we're doing, but we won't kill him off.
Yeah.
Alright,
So you hightail it back.
I'm currently still obsessed with the chest, so
Right.
Max is just gonna have to survive the night.
You get up to Mr. Gabriel's room, you see the door has fallen over outward, so it's laying in the hallway.
You see him inside, his large chest rising and falling. He's half on the bed, half not on the bed, looking very tired.
Is he asleep or is he still awake?
He is sound asleep. He's snoring like it's nobody's business. And as he snores, the place kind of rattles a little bit.
Alright, I knock on his door.
His door's on the floor.
The doorway.
Yeah, his door's on the floor. You're standing on the door. He tried to set it back up again, but it fell over.
I'm gonna knock on the door frame.
He kind of jolts awake. He looks over.
Right, Mr. Gabriel makes a strength check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and your sneak you earned 30 experience points for your sneaking escapade for the checks that you did.
So I rolled a 14, and I subtract 4, so 10.
You wake up with a start, sitting up fast, and the bed crumbles underneath of you.
Crunch.
Drops onto the ground with an enormous thud. and you're now sleeping on laying on a mattress on the floor.
Brenna kind of winces.
Ooh.
It's like, ooh.
The whole floor and the walls shake a little bit as he hits the floor.
He shakes his head. He looks and goes, "Damn, another one." And he looks at you and he goes, "What is it?" I just got to sleep.
I need your lockpicks. I need you to help.
He looks at you, looks at the box in your hands, shrugs, and he goes, "I'm not going to question where you got that. Bring it in."
Probably for the best. And I kind of like scooch in, squeeze in.
There's a little table that you can use. I didn't build it, but there's a little table.
He hasn't broken it yet.
So I'm going to get up. I'm going to do lockpick roll. If I add an 8 to whatever I roll, please roll good. Oh.
Tell me.
He rolled a 1.
Fucking hell.
He rolled a 1.
Apparently, I'm really fucking tired.
Make a strength check.
Oh God, no, no, God, no.
You're the one that came up with this.
Hey, a 19, but I subtract 4, so
15.
15.
You just barely succeeded in not breaking your lockpicks.
You see him shake his head. He goes, "I need coffee before I really start getting on this."
Brenna pulls out a thermos of coffee.
He drinks the coffee.
Make another strength check.
Oh God. Hey, it's my flaw. And that's the fun. And that's the fun of it.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Ooh, 4.
Right. No, in opening the thermos, you completely break the top off. Coffee spills everywhere.
You just see him look at the coffee on his hands. It's burning him. He shrugs and just downs it in one fucking gulp.
Brenna makes a mental note to never hand him Gerald ever.
Ever hand him what?
My coffee mug's name is Gerald.
Oh.
I have a specific coffee mug.
Oh.
That is mine. And only mine.
And now it's even more only yours. Alright, so he gets his coffee. And now what do you do?
I attempt to make that roll again. I am rolling so badly today.
Don't whiff this.
Fucking hell!
Make another strength check.
Mother!
No!
A 1! I rolled a 1.
Another 1.
No!
Ah.
You rolled a 3?
I rolled a 3.
You break your lockpicks.
Oh.
You break the lockpick off in the lock.
He just sighs, looks at you, and he goes, "Don't wake me up in the middle of the night again." I'm not.
Brenna just muttered, "Damn it," and she picks up the box and she just kind of like goes out.
You see him watch you leave in the destruction of his room. He sighs hard.
Brenna puts the door back.
You put the door back. He just sighs, curls up onto the remains of his bed, and just goes back to sleep. I'm rolling terribly. Don't include me.
Alright, so what does Mr. Gabriel's given up for the night? What does Brenna do now?
I am gonna make a gross, what do you call it? Violation of trust between me and Max, and I'm going through his shit trying to find his lockpicks.
Alright, you go into Max.
It's a double bed.
Alright, you go into Max's room.
So he's upstairs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Max was the one across the room from me, but we'll just say that you were so tired you didn't care.
Oh yeah, you know what? Considering there's a double-headed bed up here, I was up here by myself, but we're not going to talk about that.
Right. Okay, so
You don't have to sneak because Max is not in the room.
Yeah, no, I just went upstairs. I'm going through his shit.
He seems to have never made it to the room. And none of his stuff has been unpacked. His suitcase is sitting on the table.
Okay.
Do a search check.
Okay.
Here we go. Getting another set. Just breaking the wall to get outside. There we go.
Just don't do any TJ rules.
Right?
Don't be a TJ. Well, yeah, you roll okay.
You rolled an 11.
Not bad. Yeah.
And what do you add to it?
For search, I don't have search, so what would I add?
Probably intelligence.
Damn it, stop using intelligence. 10.
You don't find the lockpicks. Seems he didn't have them in his suitcase.
Damn it. Alright. I'm going on a hunt. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna put the photo album and the box in my room.
Oh boy.
And then I'm going after Max.
Alright.
Of course, you see Max outside.
He's made it into the hotel. He seems to have fallen asleep on the couch in the lobby. He's sort of laying half on it, snoring very loudly, looking very rumpled, and smelling very much of strong booze.
Damn it, Max.
The old man is still sleeping behind the counter.
Rana just shakes her head, and for just a moment, she kind of forgets her obsession over the box just a bit, just enough to make sure that she's gonna get Max upstairs safely.
Alright. So you get Max upstairs safely to his room?
Yeah. So I do the whole, like, come here, you, and I, like, kind of throw his arm over my shoulder, and I just help him walk upstairs.
It's probably good I'm not carrying him.
Alright, you get him upstairs. I'm not going to make him make a roll there that possibly dump him down the stairs.
Please don't.
Yeah, you get him up to his bed. Lay him down on the bed.
Now I go through his pockets.
Alright, make another search check.
Wait, let me get over there so I can... Okay.
You're fine. God damn it, 11.
You do find his wallet in his pocket, and it seems that he's got an awful lot of money in his wallet, and it seems that most of it is Romanian currency. Seems that he's got a lot more money now than he had when he came here.
Huh.
I'll have to ask him about that later.
So whatever he did in the bar, he got drunk and apparently made a lot of money while getting drunk.
This is Max, I don't question this shit anymore. Did I find the lockpicks or no?
No. He did not have the lockpicks on his person.
Shit. I doubt he would have left him upstairs.
Make a leap in logic.
Leap in logic.
Okay.
I'm making you guys roll this. There's lots of rolls being done here. Oh, good one. Good one.
No, I rolled an 8.
The first one is what she rolled.
Oh,
which
what's
is
the
an 8.
15?
It sometimes duplicates for some reason, but we always go with the first one that's rolled.
Now, it doesn't occur to you that maybe his stuff fell off while he was laying on the couch. Maybe stuff fell out of his pockets while he was laying on the couch.
Okay, so...
That does not occur to you.
Well, I have and I have the picture book, so I'm just gonna go upstairs real quick and check in on the door.
Okay. So she's going all the way upstairs to check on the door, and at this point, I'm going to say you're getting tired.
Yep, you're getting tired. The door is as you left it.
Okay. I'm gonna
Still
try one more
closed,
thing
still
before-
locked.
Yeah, I'm gonna try one more thing before I go to bed and leave the rest of this for the morning. I'm going to tap out a rhythm on the door, like knock, 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 knock.
Right.
And I want to put my ear to the door and see if I can hear any response.
What was that, Jane?
The lemon squares are finished. It has to be cooled completely.
All right, just bring the lemon square when you're done.
All right, so what are you trying to do with the knock, knock, knock? You're trying to see if there's a response from the other side?
Yeah.
Right, make your knock. You do your knock, knock, knock.
Well, obviously you do shave and a haircut,
Dut, dut.
because no tune can resist the old shave and a haircut bit.
You don't have to make a roll for this. You don't hear anything on the other side.
Damn it. Where's the door? Alright, well, I'm heading to bed then. I can get back in the hotel.
So everybody heads to bed.
The rolls have defied you for this first day.
Yeah.
They were really
Oh.
bad.
She had a few good ones.
I was about to say they were great at first, and then it just was like, okay.
Ah, falling out.
The next morning arrives.
You find Mr. Gabriel downstairs in the lounge where there's complimentary breakfast.
And you see that there is a bit of drama seems to be taking place down in the lobby this morning.
All right. What role am I getting?
It seems that the Brown, which was Professor Lenz, I believe was Brown.
All right.
Professor Lenz is back in the lobby, and he is currently dressing down the old man. Because apparently the old man fell asleep last night, and while he was asleep, someone broke into Professor Lenz's office and stole something. And so he is currently dressing down his employee for his lack of sharpness and the fact that he fell asleep and allowed someone to break into the hotel and steal something from his office.
So, I think dress down is a older term.
Yeah, it means basically yelling. You know, yelling at him.
Okay, just yelling at him. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yelling at him in such a way that it's pretty brutal yelling at.
Is the homely woman behind the thing again?
She is behind the counter, and she is looking like she would like to be anywhere but where she currently is. She is getting a full view of the dressing down, and she's not enjoying it, apparently. She's not the sort of person who really takes glee out of someone else's misfortune.
Of course, Mr. Gabriel's watching this. He's eating a donut going, damn, that's harsh. And he's kind of like going, I wonder who broke in. And then suddenly he stops for a moment, considers, he goes, wait a minute, last night someone brought me...
and you said you didn't want to know where it came from.
Suddenly I really didn't want to know where it came from.
But now you think you know exactly where it came from.
Sarah, does your character come down?
No, I'm still upstairs.
Mr. Gabriel just quickly walks back upstairs, knocks on your door gently. I'm doing it because I know Tim's going to ask me.
Yep, make a strength.
The door bursts in. The door suddenly bursts in by accident because I rolled a 2. I'm rolling terribly this game.
Now you've broken 2 doors and a bed.
And Hephaestus starts barking madly at you.
He just looks at you, looks at Hephaestus, and then looks at you again, and he says, do I need to know where you got that safe?
Okay. Greta sits up, puts up a finger, says coffee first.
Right, you have your coffee.
So I do the little, like, hotel room brewing of the nasty coffee stuff. And I pull the box and the what you call it?
The photo album.
Out again.
Now, this is the first time Mr. Gabriel has noticed the photo album. Because you didn't make mention of it last night.
Something else I wasn't informed about. Just come get me to pick a lock, bust my locks. Do I have to make a roll on the photo album?
No. I'm just assuming you didn't notice it last night because nobody mentioned it.
Yeah, nobody mentioned it to me.
No, I didn't mention it. I just kind of had it there. But I was more interested in getting the box open.
Alright, so you've got the box now and the photo album laid out in front of Mr. Gabriel, who has now dawned on him exactly where they came from and how you came about acquiring them.
Okay. Going for broke. Just break open the box.
He looks at you, looks at the box. He says, if there's something fragile in it, I can break it open, but if I don't successfully break it open, I will probably destroy whatever is inside.
You can go for broken. You can go for broke and really try to break it open.
I'm sure I have, like, just my toolkit for, like, repairs to Hephaestus. Could I, like, maybe bust open the lock?
Well, what
with,
do you?
A screwdriver?
Yeah, if you have something that you can use like a pry bar, yeah, you can try.
Yeah,
to
a
pry it
screwdriver
open.
would be.
Yeah, you can try to pry it open.
Alright. I'm gonna try and pry it open.
Make a strength check.
So 13 plus.
Minus. 9.
You don't know. The screwdriver slips and you tear your knuckle open.
Ooh.
Ow. Okay,
These rolls are not getting better.
no, they're not. Alright, I hand the box to Mr. Gabriel, and you, like,
Throw it against the wall as hard as you can.
He looks at you. He looks at you, and then he looks at the Hero Master in complete disgust, and then he
Make a strength check.
He's making a strength check. Hold on, I need to get my bearings here.
These rolls have not been kind to you at all tonight.
don't tell me you rolled another one.
No,
I rolled
a 5.
a 5.
So Mr. Gabriel winds up like a discus thrower and heaves the box against the wall. The box doesn't break open, but it does successfully go through the wall and into the next room.
So basically into the bathroom.
Yeah, there's a big boom, and there's a perfect square-shaped hole through the wall and into the bathroom on the other side. Mr. Gabriel is going to be owing Professor Lenz quite a bit of money for all the damage he's doing in the hotel room.
He goes, I'm really thankful.
You know don't worry. I know where we can get some cash. I got you covered. Okay. So
Now the box is now laying right in front of the bathtub in a pile of plaster. It is still shut.
No more Mr. Nice Girl. Here's the thing, okay?
Yeet it out the window.
Not quite, not yet. You know that picture of the series of wrenches that eventually ends in the blowtorch, and it says, "It can't stay stuck if it's liquid."
You have a blowtorch?
I have probably a little mini one
Well,
for like tech stuff.
time to break out the heavy artillery.
Oh God.
Well, we're going to call it a destruction check. Go ahead and make it. You're going to try to basically destroy the lock on this chest.
Using a blowtorch.
Using a blowtorch.
What skill does it add?
Whatever your best stat is, use that.
Well, technically it's charisma, but I don't think that comes into play. So let's go with dexterity.
Okay.
Talks to the safe gently, and it
All right.
opens.
Go with dexterity. That works.
So 15.
15, you melt the lock. There's a hideous smell of molten plastic. And you can get the chest popped open.
Aha! Alright, what's in the chest? What's in the box?
You open the box, and there is 3 pieces of crumpled up paper. They're not really crumpled, they're folded, but not with precision.
And
They
a little
appear-
bit burnt now.
They appear to be old pieces of paper.
Okay. What do they have on them?
Quite a bit, but it's all written in all appears to be written in shorthand German. Hero Master's not making this easy.
No, you are not.
Well, this is a commoner campaign, so literally...
And you are in a foreign country where they're... Obviously, this is probably Professor Lenz, who is German.
I'm going to make a language roll because my character is good with language. Mr. Gabriel...
Just by the law of the gambler's ruin, you've got to start rolling better eventually. Not yet.
Right.
That is a 9?
And that's the one thing you
No, wait, no, that's 11. That's 11.
The one thing you get out of it is there are several nines. Nine, no in German.
Definitely he's saying no to something.
Quick question. Where was the father from? The chaplain dude?
Russia.
Russia?
He was on loan apparently from the Russian Orthodox Church, named Father Nikolai.
Mr. Gabriel looks at you, and then he goes, I'm going to go check upstairs. And he's going to go check the box. Make sure it's still there. Because he just has a sneaking suspicion.
Okay, while he's doing that and getting up there,
Because he's like, I'm literally not rolling good today. Fuck this shit.
There's a giant spider hanging out the window.
Yeah.
Where'd the spiders come from?
They're in Minecraft. So Mr. Gabriel comes up and he checks the door. But first, what is Sarah doing?
first I'm gonna hang a picture over the hole in the wall.
Good
Just
thinking.
gonna move that over there, and first I want to look at the picture book, the photo album. Is there anything worthwhile in there?
Actually, there is. You find a picture, an old black and white, of a young man. You can tell by looking at his features that this is the old man you met in the lobby when he was much younger. And he is standing next to a very tall, very thin old man with a handlebar mustache, balding, who appears to be wearing a black cloak that has stars and planets and moons drawn all over it. He has a cane and white gloves, a cane in one hand, and some sort of a black book in the other. And you are guessing that this is a picture of the old man as a very young man standing with the Great McDuck.
Oh, so this guy knew that guy.
Wait a second. You said white glove on one hand?
No, both hands have white gloves.
Oh. About to give me a heart attack.
He's dressed up like a magician. No, it's not Mr. White. No, he's wearing a magician's outfit. And you would guess that this was probably the Great McDuck standing with this, getting his picture taken. This young man, now an old man, getting his picture taken with the Great McDuck.
Huh.
And you find another picture of the same old man with the handlebar mustache, obviously the Great McDuck, who owns, and no, this time there are no white gloves, no cane, no black book. He's got a puppet in each hand. One is a sock puppet on one hand, and he's got some sort of a marionette that he's holding up with the other hand, and he is sitting on the box in this photograph, also a black and white.
Well, how the...
But those are the only two photographs you see that draw your interest in any way.
How to turn tables.
Alright, I'm just gonna kinda... how am I gonna get this shit out of here?
That's a good question.
And what did Mr. Gabriel do?
Mr. Gabriel has gone upstairs to check on the box to make sure it's like still there, like nothing's wrong with the door or anything.
The box is still there, and so is Marco. He is sitting on the floor directly 3 feet in front of the door with his legs crossed, sort of staring at the door and rocking back and forth. It almost seems to be in some sort of a trance. Because he doesn't look at you, doesn't seem to notice you enter.
He looks at Marco, then looks at the door, and he goes, you okay?
He snaps out of it, looks at you, jolts backwards, then does a reverse crab crawl across the floor to the back corner, and says, I know hurt nothing. I just want to look at the box.
He looks at Marco, he looks at the thing, and he goes,
The door is still locked, so he's just looking at the door, not the box.
yeah. He looks at the door, looks at him, looks at the door. He sighs. He does a lot of sighing because life is just harsh on him sometimes, like it normally is. He looks at the door. He knows it's reinforced. There's currently a brick wall that's been erected. Can he make a leap in logic?
What's he going to try to leap?
The wall is made of bricks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is a hastily made wall. Correct?
Do you leap in logic? I know where you're going with it, so do you?
God damn it!
You yet to roll double digits in this entire...
It does not occur to him to...
At all.
To basically go against the wall. And at this point, I am getting very fed up. I'm like, God!
Wow.
Oh, God, this one might actually just be
This dice rolling mechanism you come up with is your nemesis tonight.
He sighs and he just goes, the only way is through the door. Hang on. He then goes downstairs.
You see Marco says, you pick, yes, you can pick.
He goes, lock pit broke, hang on. He goes downstairs.
He says, this one's not. He says, this one not, and he holds up Max's lockpick set.
He turns around, he takes
He says, other man that you know says he drunk last night. Drop it on the ground outside.
He looks, and then he looks back at the door, and he goes, thanks. And he is going to attempt to lockpick the door.
And break Max's lockpick set.
God damn it!
Well, you failed to unlock the door. Now make your strength check. Sarah's enjoying your movie.
Hey, that's a good roll!
Well, you succeed. You don't succeed in unlocking the door, but you do succeed in not breaking Max's lockpick set.
He says, same hard as before. He goes, all right, I'm going to attempt it one more time, but then I'm just going to go downstairs and ask him for the key. God dang mother
Make a strength check again. She's really
4.
enjoying this.
It's 4.
You break the lockpick set.
He stops, he gets up, and he just walks all the way downstairs. Are they still yelling at each other?
No, the old man is gone. And you see Professor Lenz seems to be in his office, and you can hear things rattling and shuffling around, and he is muttering in German.
He goes up to the door, and he looks in, and he goes, "Are you looking for a lockbox?"
And he turns and looks at you with sudden dark suspicion in his face.
And he goes, "Pretty sure that box is exactly what you think it is. It's an SCP. I need the key at this point."
He says, "You could have simply asked instead of breaking into my office and stealing it."
He looks at you. This hulking size of a man is looking at you and goes, "Listen, if it was me who got into your office, by this point, there wouldn't be an office. My guess is he's like looking at him and goes, it was probably my colleague that broke into your office, and in quite honesty, she should have just asked. But my guess is there is a effect from the box that is basically calling to her to find a way to break it open. And at this point, we need to get back to the SCP HQ. I need to get into that room now."
And
he's done. He's just like, I don't care how to contain it. We're breaking in. We're grabbing the box. We're getting the fuck out. And no one's allowed to touch it.
And
That's up to the scientists at this point. This thing has already proven to be an SCP to him.
he nods and says, "Very well." He takes the key out of his pocket.
Mr. Gabriel holds out his hand for the key.
He hands it to you.
And Mr. Gabriel goes upstairs. And he yells as he passes.
You have a soda with ice?
I can go get it.
By
But
any chance? Maybe you'll let the... Oh, no, you don't want to let her unlock it. She'll go in and open it.
he simply walks up to her door, then looks at his door that's broken down. He picks up that door and he kind of like shoves it in front of her door so she can't get out.
Oh, so she's not up there, upstairs.
No, I'm still in my room.
Okay. You hear the sound of somebody rattling something around outside your door, and then there's what sounds like a heavy bang as something is
Thudded against your door.
Lodged in place against your door.
Okay, well, I stopped trying to find cell service so that I can use Google Translate on the papers, and I go over to my door and I try to push it open.
Make a strength check.
Okay, I have to go out the fucking door. There we go.
I swear to God.
You can't budge the door. Someone has wedged something quite solidly against it on the other side. Someone is intent on keeping you in your room.
You then hear Mr. Gabriel go, "I'm going to go unlock the door to the box. Stay here."
Okay, so hearing that and knowing that you're going to the box, and considering that I'm currently under its sway, I'm going to back up all the way. Actually, hang on, no. I'm gonna wait like just 3 minutes so that you go upstairs and start getting the door open.
All right.
Then I'm going to get a running start.
All right.
And just
Alright,
roll
go down.
my
Right,
entire-
go down to make your roll. I want you to make a random roll first.
Random roll.
Yep, just roll.
You got
Alright,
12.
12. All right, I've got that here. Now make your strength check.
Okay.
Add the 12 you rolled to that.
So 13.
So 13, because you have got supernatural determination driven by
The box.
the box itself.
It's good because you rolled a 1.
Mm-hmm. And what is your fortitude?
Fortitude. 10.
Alright. You back up, run forward, ram into the door, smash through both doors. Your door pops open. The door wedged from the outside falls over. You tumble out on top of it and take 7 points of damage as you dislocate your shoulder, impacting the door.
Ouch.
But you're out.
Does Mr. Gabriel hear this?
Make an awareness check.
Alright, hang on.
Another dice roll.
That's what Commoner is all about.
Mm-hmm. Failing dice rolls.
A lot of failing dice rolls tonight. Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah.
14. And I add nothing for my wisdom.
Oh, you do hear the sound. What sounds like the door being broken open downstairs.
He sighs.
And you can hear her give a loud grunt of pain along with the crunch.
He stops, and this is the part where I have to really consider his character. He wanted her to stay, and the mere fact that she just broke down the door instead of listening to him has indicated that she is not going to listen to him, and she is definitely influenced by the box. But on the other hand, she has just dislocated her shoulder, and he doesn't want his teammate to be hurt.
And this is and she is obviously being driven in a way that is unhealthy to her. So definitely not. This is not any kind of natural determination on her part.
He stops and he thinks for a moment, and he's going to weigh up his options. And this is me, the player, hopefully getting this character right.
And I gotta pee, so I gotta take a pee break.
So Sarah, while we are waiting for Tim to return, my question to you is this. How have you enjoyed tonight's The Box game so far, even though we've rolled nothing but terrible rolls? I must have made a really good random dice generator over here. Because this thing just awful. Absolutely brutal.
Honestly, like, I'm tickled that we've been rolling so poorly, because it kind of makes us have to think on our feet, and it gives us plenty of opportunities for role play instead of just everything kind of being handed to us.
Yep, I can agree to that. I like that. But as you can tell, Mr. Gabriel's kind of like this thing. You busting down the door quite literally has definitely confirmed to him that A, the box is definitely an SCP. B, it needs to be put into something as fast as possible. C, he is going to do his best not to look at the box or touch the box. He's going to kind of like use his coat to pick it up. That's his plan. But he definitely knows under no circumstances are you to open the box. And at this point, he's just taking the box. Because the way he sees it, we are SCP acquisition. This thing's definitely an SCP. It's time to take it into a lab where D-class personnel can deal with it. And not, people who are trained to get SCPs. And that's like what's going through his head right now.
What's going through his head?
I really should stop rolling terribly.
Well, that's an obvious. Doing it, on the other hand, might be difficult. Because the dice seem to have other ideas for you.
He goes up to the door, and he looks at Manuel, who's probably... Marco.
Who's no longer sitting. He's now standing back in the corner that he was standing in, looking at you as you come in with the key. His eyes seem to light up.
He looks at Marco, and then he thinks, and he goes, Marco.
He says, yes.
He doesn't know Mr. Gabriel has the key. He goes, Marco, I need you to do 2 things for me.
He says, yes, I do anything for you.
He goes,
I am your servant.
He says, if you do these 2 things for me, I'll show you the box.
His eyes light up.
He goes, number 1, go get me and my compatriots a car so we can leave town today.
He says, this I can do.
While you're at it, please go figure out what happened to my female associate. Oh, fuck. I know it starts with B. Brenna.
Yeah.
Go to Brenna and make sure she is is okay, and make sure she doesn't come up here.
Is Brenna on her way up?
Yeah, Brenna is running pell-mell up the stairs.
Marco heads out, and he stops just in time to keep from bumping into Brenna, who comes running into the room.
Mr. Gabriel pockets the key and looks at Brenna and goes, Brenna?
Where do you get off? Locking me in my own room.
He's looking at you and narrows his eyes and goes, Brenna, think for a moment. Don't use your intelligence. I would say use your wisdom in this case.
Because you are very stupid for a researcher.
He says, consider why you just broke down a door, and is your arm dislocated? Your arm is like hanging.
Yeah, her one shoulder's kind of hanging. You just now notice how badly it hurts.
Just like, maybe. What's to you?
He looks at you and goes, consider that SCPs can affect people. Why do you think you just burst down a door hell-mell after being told that maybe you should stay put, especially after I did all this? He's basically trying to reason to you that maybe you shouldn't follow him. Maybe you should listen to him.
Both of you make awareness checks.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yeah, you're arguing an uphill battle, buddy, because
He's too busy focused on Brenna trying to talk her down.
Because Brenna's got her curiosity and she's under the sway of this thing, so it's like doubly bad.
I rolled a 5.
Awareness, I have...
Wisdom.
No, I actually have awareness, so 16.
Right? You notice it, but Mr. Gabriel doesn't notice it, that Marco has very, very stealthily and sneakily gotten his hand into Mr. Gabriel's pocket and pulling out the key. Gabriel doesn't notice it, but you do. What do you do?
I point and yell, "Hey, that's mine!" and I tackle him.
All right, make a
I say it is now combat.
Yep. We now go into initiative.
Go ahead and put your figure down before we start rolling for initiative.
Okay.
I'm going to make my initiative, so let me make my roll.
Let me tell you, this entire episode has not turned out at all like the Hero Master was expecting it to go.
So 17 for Mr. Gabriel.
Right?
How many rounds are we rolling? Just 1, 2?
Yeah, just one. I don't think this will go much beyond 1 or 2 rounds.
Okay.
Marco is not a formidable enemy.
9.
Right?
And Marco got
A 16.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so Mr. Gabriel's actually going first. Mr. Gabriel notices after you said, "Hey, that's mine," he's going to make a skill check to see if he it's to see if he actually catches on that's what's going on.
All right, make your roll.
God.
He's still too busy dressing down Brenna. Has no idea that Marco's got the key in his hand.
At this point, he doesn't want to draw his gun. You see him hold up his hands, and he is making.
And I would say from that roll, you probably mistake the situation and think that Brenna is charging you.
You see him. You see him.
You don't even notice Marco.
You see him hold up his hands.
Like crap.
Don't blame me. Blame my upbringing. Please stop singing while I'm singing. If you can figure out that reference, everybody, kudos to you. Now, he's technically going to hold his action, and he is holding up his hand. He's ready to grapple her. And he goes, I really hope I don't accidentally kill you because of his strength.
Right. And the next is Marco, who is trying to duck around Mr. Gabriel to use Mr. Gabriel as a wall to keep Brenna from him. So he darts around.
So he's on the other side.
And the actual dice is it's working much nicer than your electronic dice is. He very smoothly slips around to the other side of Mr. Gabriel and to the door, putting Gabriel between himself and Brenna, and he is inserting the key into the door. He is going to attempt to... well, there's a very bad roll. He drops the key in his attempt to unlock the door.
All right.
But he has got Gabriel between himself and Brenna.
All right. Sarah, Brenna, you're doing your thing. Do you want to make a skill roll to overcome my will to kind of like say what you want to say? Because right now you said, hey, that's mine, but do you want to clarify anything before you start charging the guy who looks like he's ready to tackle you?
And the guy she actually wants to tackle is going on the other side of him.
No, really, she's too far gone, to be perfectly honest. So she's gonna try and dart around you. So it kind of does look like she's going for the door.
All right.
Make a dexterity check.
But what I'm gonna do is when I'm going around, I'm gonna try and scoop the key from the floor.
So it's like an acrobatics check. It'll be dexterity. You're trying to juke and make a quick move around him.
Why is everybody else rolling good?
And
15.
you succeed in getting around Mr. Gabriel, and now you are right there nose to nose with Marco, so you can do whatever you want.
5, 6. Yep, that is 6.
Yep, you are right there at Marco. You have one action left.
I'm gonna deck him in the schnoz.
Right, make your attack. Mr. Gabriel's like, huh? And now they're fighting on the other side of you.
Well.
You hit him right. You hit him square in the schnoz. Just after he's dropped the key, he sits down on the floor and begins to bawl. And you notice the key on the floor next to him, between him and the door.
Mr. Gabriel, at this point...
Next round.
I held my actions, and
Okay.
the dexterity roll was to get past me before I could use my actions. I'm going to use my actions to pick up the door, pick up the key, and I am moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Wait, you took the key. I had it in my hand.
That was on the floor. You spent your action punching Marco in the face.
You moved, and then you attacked.
Then
which
you
is 2
punched
actions.
Marco in the face. He sat down and bawled, so the key's on the floor between the two of you.
Oh,
And
I
considering...
thought that was part of my roll, but okay, never mind.
No, the dexterity roll was to get past... I just want to make sure that everything's on the level.
Dexterity roll is to get past Gabriel.
Before I could use my action point.
Which you did, and you got around him to Marco. The key was on the floor.
Which is a movement, and then your second action was to punch him.
And the action was to punch Marco in the face.
Okay.
So the key fell on the floor, and I then picked it up because I held my 2 actions.
You punched Marco. Marco fell down, and now it's the only person left to move in the round is Gabriel.
And I chose my 1 action to move to here, and my other action to put the key into my jacket pocket where it's hard to get to.
So I misunderstood then.
That's fine.
I would have gone for the key, but we're just going to continue as it is.
Okay. And
it was much funnier that you punched Marco in the face anyway.
Yeah, it was a lot more.
I feel horrible though. I'm not this type of person, but just her curiosity
it's
is going.
the
Right now, second round
The
initiatives. Initiatives for the second round.
All right.
Marco is probably going to be going last. He rolled a 1.
And what did he get?
Marco got a 1.
So Mr. Gabriel, he's going to make a he's essentially going to make a bully check on you. And he's going against your will.
There's quite a ruckus going on upstairs now.
So he's going to attempt to bully you to basically stand down. What's your will?
11.
So I definitely got a 3, so I think that's not 11 or above.
Oh, no.
I still have 2 more actions. I'm going to sacrifice 1 more of the actions to try to talk to you. Okay, that's over your defense. So he successfully bullied you into not coming after the key, but he's going to hold his last action. So and I just want to clarify, Tim, I did roll
That's all the roll.
the 13 plus 4, so plus 1, which was 14, so that's definitely over your will. And my goal was, with my bully, to basically say, to talk her down into not trying to take the key. But I'm still going to hold on to my action to see what else she does. So it's your choice to roleplay at this point. If you wish to come after me for another reason, you can. It's just I successfully said don't come after the key. You can't turn and start pummeling the poor boy because he tried to take the key away from him.
Oh, no. I'm not evil. Like, I'm not mean. Like, I just decked him in the schnoz because he was going after the key again. Or at least in my mind. So there's literally nothing I can do because the key is the only thing she wants right now because she wants to get into the door.
Well,
So,
you know Mr. Gabriel got the key to unlock the door, so you can let him unlock the door and then figure out how to get in past him.
Yep.
No, I know.
You've
That's
already-
what I'm saying. Like, right now, like, there's literally, like, the ball is in his court, so I'm gonna step back and be like, alright, fine, whatever.
So I guess combat ends currently.
For his part, Marco just sits on the floor. There's a river of blood running down his nose and staining the carpet around his legs.
Good job, Brenna.
Stop making me feel bad!
Hey, I just destroyed a lot of shit in this game. At least it's not me this time.
Yeah, you didn't destroy people's livelihoods, though. I have cost 2 people their jobs thus far.
No, you didn't necessarily cost Marco his job. You just cost him his nose.
He will never be able to be a professional wine sniffer ever again. Look at what you've done, Brenna. Look at what you've done. He can't smell wine anymore. He won't be first class, Brenna.
He's crying, he sniffles, he sneezes, and blows a big blood clot out. And that finally gets the blood to stop flowing.
So Mr. Gabriel's looking at the both of you, and he goes, Brenna, go downstairs. Both of you seek medical attention. I am going to get the box, and then we are going to leave. What do you do?
Brenna, like, narrows her eyes, just says, fine, and she grabs Marco by the scruff of his collar and puts him on his feet, brushes him off a little bit, and says, come on, let's go. And we go down the stairs, but we do not go all the way down.
Alright, they go down far enough that you can't see them anymore.
Alright, my guess is you're down here and now you're kind of like doing this.
Yeah, she's skulking
Pretty
about.
much.
She's skulking about.
Mr. Gabriel goes up to the door, and he sighs, and he goes, okay, I need to take a moment and consider. This thing is going to basically make me want to open the box, which I cannot allow it to do. And, by the way, you can hear him talking to himself. He's in front of the door, he's got the key in hand, he's going, okay, get the box and get out. Get the box and get out. And he starts to put it in, and then he takes it away and he goes. He yells down. He goes, Brenna!
Does she answer?
He goes, dang. From memory, how big was the box? Because
About the size. It's a magician's trunk, so it's about 4 feet by 4 feet.
okay.
It's got stars and planets and moons drawn all over it. Looks like a standard magician's trunk.
He goes, okay.
Old, dusty, definitely antique.
So it's big.
Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for Mr. Gabriel,
Mm-hmm.
it is the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gets one chance to influence people per day. It rolled badly last time it tried to influence you. Now it's going to do so again.
Can I help Fortitude, like, steal my will, basically? Can I make a steal my will roll?
Yeah, make the roll.
He is aware of the ability.
Yeah, make the roll.
So,
And use your fortitude to steal your will. And if you roll shit, then...
I did not roll shit. So, 14, 15, 16, 17 is my roll to steal my will.
What's your fortitude?
My fortitude, it's a 13.
So it's +1. So add +1 to your will defense.
My will is 10 and my fortitude is 13. No. Are you saying my constitution?
Your constitution modifier.
Oh, my constitution modifier is 3. So
yeah, so add 3 to your will defense.
So 13 is my will
right now
defense.
It's a 13. It has to top. Oh, you're lucky. It rolled shit again.
Hey!
It rolled a 3.
He unlocks the door, and he kind of just like half-eyed looking at the chest.
You feel something in your mind, something tickling, some impulse to go and just throw it open and see once and for all what's inside, but you're able to sort of drive it down, drive the
will down. And he goes, note to self, definitely make sure no one opens this box. He goes over, he grabs the box.
Make a strength check. And this time it's not a reverse strength check. This time it's actually attempting to see if you can lift the box.
5.
You can't lift it.
He tries to lift it.
It's either much heavier than it looks, or it is somehow fastened to the floor or the wall.
He's looking at the box, the magician box, and he goes, well, that's not good. He checks
Brenna, what are you doing?
His bulk is currently in front
You heard
of the
the
door.
sound of the door open. So you know he opened the door. You were waiting for this.
Yeah, I look at Marco because Marco's fidgeting. And I'm like, we have to wait for him to pull the box out.
And Marco says you want C in box too?
Yes, very much so.
He says, why you hit Marco?
Took the key. You're gonna
Okay.
get there first.
Tim, this is the part of me that didn't realize until just now. Speaking in third person is kind of a little derogatory. I don't think he would say, why did you hit
He
Marco?
doesn't know English very well. He has very broken English.
I guess so. It was just my thing. The word would be me. Why did you hit me?
No.
And me is not really I don't think it's really a hard
he's-
word to know.
He's got very bad English, so...
Okay. I was
He's
just
not stupid, he just...
Yeah,
can't
but
communicate
he was
well.
coming off as stupid.
Mm.
That's why I was like, I don't think this character is stupid.
No, he just he just has very poor English.
And he decided to use his name instead of trying to say me because he doesn't know the word for me.
Because he knows more than his own name much better than he knows English.
Because English is confusing.
Right. I just want to clarify that for
Yeah.
anybody who is watching,
Yeah,
just to
he's
know
not-
that we're not trying to make him sound
Yeah,
stupid.
he's
It's
not
just-
stupid. He just doesn't speak he just doesn't know the English language well.
So, the two of you go ahead. I'm too busy trying to figure out why the box is not moving. So the two of you have a conversation, and I'm just going to quickly go use the restroom.
Can you grab me some ice?
I'll grab you some ice and in a cup. I'll be right back. But go ahead.
All right. So are the two of you planning on how to get past Mr. Gabriel?
At this point, we don't know that he can't lift the box. So my assumption is that we're gonna wait for him to move the box into the open area.
And then, like, try to snatch it away from him or open it while it's in his hands?
Yeah, exactly. So we were kind of holding out for that, but I mean.
Well, at the moment, all you can see is his back, and he's in the room, pretty much filling up the doorway, and he's hunched down as though he's kneeling over the box. Possibly he's even opening it.
So, check something here. 'Cause it could go either way, really. 'Cause I could either wait or I could go for it. You know, she's gonna wait. Tactical part of her brain kicked in.
Wait for my best shot.
Right? So she's currently waiting.
Are you enjoying this episode?
He asked me the same question. Absolutely. I think it's great because we keep rolling shit, so we kind of have to think.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes bad rolls really make you improvise and role play better.
Jeez.
It's easy when the rolls are good.
Yeah, because then everything runs smoothly and you don't feel like you've accomplished anything. But if you're rolling shit all night and then you get that one roll and you're just like, yes.
And you have to improvise your role play to play around the shit rolls.
Right?
Well, tonight pretty much everything's rolling shit.
I've noticed.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is your guys' plan to get past me?
They're waiting for you to carry the box out.
Okay.
They don't realize you haven't been able to move it yet.
Is the box bolted down?
Not that you can see.
Okay. He goes, okay, this thing is now officially... He nods and he goes, okay. He pulls out...
It wasn't an SCP before.
It definitely is now. You see him just kind of sigh, and he goes, alright, time to call in the cavalry. He opens up his phone to call the Foundation.
Alright. You open up your phone to call the Foundation, and what do you say?
I call the boss, Mr. White. Ring, ring, ring.
Alright. And you make the call, and someone other than Mr. White answers. And I say, yes. What have you... Well, it says, are you calling to make a report?
He goes, yep. This is Agent Gabriel making my report on the acquisition of the Magician's Box up in the mountains.
He says, oh yes, at Stairsborn.
At Stairsborn, yep. I can confirm that this is definitely an SCP. I need backup as fast as possible.
He says, dangerous?
He looks at the box and he goes, it has already influenced one team member into wanting to open it. And I felt it trying to influence me to open the box.
He says, and opening it would be a bad thing?
According to the what we've read on this thing so far, yeah. If this thing is already exerting unknown supernatural control over people, this thing is definitely worthy of being locked into a room and studied.
He says, but you don't He says, but you don't know actually what will happen if the box is open. Only rumors and hearsay.
He looks at the box and then goes, "Sir, this thing has already made a member burst down a door and dislocate her arm and disregard that fact in order to open the box."
He says, but are you sure that that was not simply her own desire to solve the case of this particular SCP? Because until you actually know what is in the box, we can't actually confirm that it's dangerous to open the box.
He goes,
every once a day, it can make a roll against against every person that's in car. It's just made a roll against the guy on the other side of the phone, and he's telling you to open the box.
Oh God! I'm gonna make a leap in logic to see if I figure that out. Because that literally just put that up. I'm gonna make a leap in logic. Oh my God! I suddenly rolled good. Yep. 19.
Suddenly it dawns on you that this thing can influence people, not only people directly next to it, but people who are in any sort of contact with people next to it. It can. Oh, this guy's halfway across the world and has just been influenced by the box. It is beyond dangerous.
He's looking down at the box and he goes, "Sir, this is a Euclid level threat right now. You have just been influenced."
What does their Euclid level threat mean?
Highly. Euclid can usually. Some people say, "Oh my God, it's so dangerous." Euclid means it's really hard to contain this thing. And he's saying Euclid because Euclid means this thing is hard to contain. It just affected you, sir.
And he says, "What do you mean it just affected me?" He says, "I'm just exerting common sense here." He says, "You're there to research it." He says, "So research."
No, sir. I'm here to acquire the SCP, and by acquire, I mean this thing is too dangerous. We need a team.
He says, "But we don't know it's dangerous." He says, "Unless you actually open it," he says, cannot contain anything. It might be nothing but legends and rumors and coincidence."
He sighs. He goes,
"Now this isn't Mr. White you're talking to.
He goes,
one of his subordinates."
He says,
Hey.
Yeah?
While they're having this conversation, Brenna and Marco are gonna try and sneak up.
All right, make your acrobatics check or sneak check.
This is the part where I realize I probably should have closed that door behind me.
Hot diggity dog!
Oh, I love the way this is turning out. It is becoming so chaotic.
18 on the acrobatics.
Describe how you get past, how you almost effortlessly get past Mr. Gabriel while he is having a very frustrated conversation on the phone with someone who is telling him to open the box.
Okay, so Marco, I get impatient and I don't want to wait anymore because obviously he's not bringing the box out. So I signal to Marco and I do the whole little pointing two fingers at my eyes and point two fingers at the door and I tell him to stand on the right and I go to the left and we just kind of both peer in.
Are you just peering in, or are you trying to get past me?
That roll that you made, you can get past him. He can't stop you. That was a good roll.
I figured he was in the doorway.
Well, he is in the doorway, but with that roll, you can get past him without him stopping you.
All right. So I get in. Does Marco get in, or does he?
No, Marco rolled shit. He's afraid to try to approach. Gabriel saw him out of the corner of his eye, and Marco didn't go any far. Marco rolled a 4.
I'm making a roll to see if I notice that she just came in.
Well, you make a roll.
I definitely don't notice. I'm too busy going, "Sir!"
Your attention is now split between Mark. You see Marco trying to sneak in and arguing with the person on the other side who's blatantly ordering you to open the box.
He goes, Sir, go check your handbook. It definitely says don't do this. We need a D class to do this if you want to know if it's dangerous or not. It is already affecting people's minds.
And he says, that's your opinion. I need more than just an opinion, soldier.
He goes, sir.
And Brenna has just got past you. What do? You are in the room with the box.
I'll say this much. You say it's affecting it can only exert influence over one person a day.
No, it can make one roll against every person in contact with it, but it can only do it once a day. But it can make rolls against an unlimited number of people, but it can only make a roll against only make one roll against any person a day.
So by that logic, could I roll to see if I break free?
No, it's already got you. Once it's got you, it keeps you until you open it.
I would actually say, Tim, that is... I feel like that goes against Hero Builder rules.
Why does that go against Hero Builder rules?
Because after the first time, which was yesterday, she's essentially dominated. But every round after the initial domination...
Not really, the turn will be influenced because she can still do what she wants. And it's a role-play situation, but the role-play situation is now she wants to open the box. So you want to make another roll? We can do that.
Okay, so I want to open the box, but I can choose not to open the box?
Well, make a roll. See if
Okay.
See if you break the influence.
See if you can break through its influence.
My logic behind this is that I'm literally sitting there listening to my colleague who deals with SCPs and stuff argue over the phone about how this
Yeah, that
is
makes
dangerous.
sense. That makes sense. Make a roll. See if the dice are in your favor.
They have not been at all.
Alright, so I'm
These
going to
rolls
try
are terrible.
I'm going to try and pickpocket key.
Why? You're already inside.
You're already inside. You can open the box.
You can just open it.
Oh, the key isn't for the chest?
No, the key was... There is no lock on the box. The key was for the door to get in. The box can't be locked because remember it sheds all the... Every lock that's been put on it, it sheds. The lock that was on it's laying on the floor in front of it.
That's right.
All you have to do is open it.
Alright. I'm gonna kick myself if I kill my character, but I'm gonna open the box.
Now, one thing you can trust me on, this Hero Master doesn't put a situation in where the situation that you're in that's going to instantly lead to you being dead.
We definitely could die.
But it won't be because you won't open the box and then die.
Shit. Alright, well, I'm opening the box.
Alright, Mr. Gabriel out of the corner of his eye sees that Brenna's gotten past him and is in the process of opening the box.
No, I missed it. I totally missed her opening the box. She opens the box without my noticing.
She opens the box. You open the box, and you see that there's nothing inside the box. Literally, there's no floor. The box looks like, you're looking down the box, it looks like you're looking down some sort of a black shaft. There's no floor underneath the box. There's no bottom to the box. The walls of the box end at what looks like a black shaft dropping down into infinity. And as you open the box, the compulsion that you've had to open the box immediately lifts off of you. And you stand there wondering why you've needed to open the box so much. But beyond that, nothing happens.
I shut the box, and I stare into the infinite abyss.
Well,
the wall. No, I'm saying like metaphorical infinite abyss.
I just say you have to leave the box. You have to leave the box open to look down into the abyss underneath of it.
Okay, so 1,000-yard stare. I have 1,000-yard.
Okay.
That's the terminology I'll use. I have 1,000-yard stare, and I'm just looking at the wall, shaking my head, wondering
It's snowing
where it all
out.
went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that nothing happened when you opened the box, except that the compulsion lifted off of you. And you can hear Gabriel on the phone, the guy on the other end of the phone yelling, Open it now. That's an order.
He goes, "Sir, I can't open it now. When the box is open, does the influence suddenly disappear from him?"
And then he's like, wait. No, I think you're right. I don't think you should open the box. It seems that common sense has suddenly called him, and he's like, why did I want you to open it so badly?
I'm going to make...
I tap Gabriel on the shoulder.
She taps you on the shoulder.
He suddenly turns around.
She's on the wrong side. She's standing between you and the box.
He looks at you, looks at the box, looks at his phone.
Did you shut the box again, right?
Yeah, I shut the box.
So the box is...
I'm gonna hold my hand out for the phone.
The box is just as it was. Looks just as it was when you last looked at it.
That was a leap in logic to see if she opened the box. He says, "You're not supposed to be in here." He suddenly puts his hand on top of the box as though to stop her from opening it.
What do you say?
I don't say anything. I just hold my hand out for the phone and it's just like doing the little like give me motion.
Do you give her the phone?
I give her the phone. It seems that he's suspicious on why she suddenly doesn't want to open the box. It doesn't occur to him that the box was opened behind him without his knowing. I rolled a 5.
Right, you take the... He gives you the phone.
And I kind of like take a second to like catch my breath and I'm like, so yeah, I don't mean to make this a habit, but I got in over my head again, and I opened the box.
And the guy says, I was trying to get Gabriel to open the box, too. He said it exerts some sort of influence. Well, since you opened it, what happened?
Gabriel's looking at the box.
Didn't seem like anything happened, except that there was some sort of bottomless hole in the bottom of it.
It opens up into some sort of abyss. I did not stick my hand in it, because as soon as I opened the box, the compulsion lifted.
I'll be right back. I gotta go turn off the front door. Thanks.
And yeah, this is like the walkthrough episode where I looked at SCP. What was it? 689, I think.
Somewhere behind you. While you're on the phone, somewhere behind you, out of this room, and somewhere behind you, you hear the sound of a scream.
Oh, shit. Is it... Did you say it was on the other side of the phone, or...
No, on the other side. On the other side of Mr. Gabriel, somewhere out in the room where all of the action just took place. Not the room, not the room that's inside the brick wall, but the room outside the brick wall.
You see Mr. Gabriel draw his firearm, and he looks at you, and he goes, "Considering I'm the only person here that did not open the box, go figure out what that was. I'll protect the box."
Really? It's just, Brenna just looks at you like, she looks at her arm, looks at you.
He sighs, he goes, "You protect the box then, don't open it again," and he leaves.
And I yell out, "Find Maxwell's junk ass."
He goes,
Brenna is thoroughly done with this shit.
Alright, is she gonna go see what the scream was, or?
I think she's staying to guard the box. And
So-
he yells, "Close the door and lock it." He goes, "Wait, don't lock it.
Make up your mind.
Don't lock it." And he runs to find out what's going on.
You go outside this room to the stairs, and you
Alright.
find that there's blood on the railing. It seems that Marco, who had all the blood coming from his nose, had blood all over his hands, put too much pressure on the railing and slid, fell down the stairs, and appears to have broken his neck.
Did he fall down, or did
Yeah.
he fall down here?
he fell all the way down.
All the way down.
All the
Four
way down.
floors.
And there's no one else around, so there's no way he could have been pushed. It seems that he simply somehow slipped and fell over the railing.
Oh, sorry. Never got to apologize for punching you.
I say that it's a cut dry case. This is an SCP. Snag it, bag it, tag it.
Yeah, the thing is that it's not gonna go anywhere.
He's looking at the box. He looks down and he goes, Brenda. Brenda. He goes.
What?
He goes. That box, SCP. Legend is true.
No kidding.
He goes. He looks down and then he goes, okay. He sighs and he goes, it won't. He goes back inside and he attempts to lift the box again.
Make a nerve strength check.
Yeah, let's not talk about it. It does not move.
Jeez.
I usually this hulking man unable to budge this box.
Brenna, what do you do? Seeing that Gabriel cannot lift the box.
There is actually, by the way, Tim, this is the part where I have to go. There is technically a contingency plan in place for the Foundation to kind of like just make this. So the idea is the Foundation we
Makes
could call
this the place that it's contained at.
it's
Yeah.
contained at.
Yeah, I
and
figured there was. But there is a way to move the box. You just haven't figured out what it is yet.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go downstairs and I'm going to go find Maximilian, Professor Max.
Alright. You find him downstairs and he is standing over Marco, who is laying at the base, very bottom of the staircase.
right here.
Appears to have broken his neck after having fallen down 4 floors.
I'm gonna be like, okay, so I asked the professor, where's the old man?
And the professor says, What did you do to poor Marco?
He fell, okay.
It's obvious he fell, but he appears that he was thrown. And then he suddenly looks at you and says, you opened it, didn't you?
You suddenly see a very large, bald-headed African-American man lean over the rail, look down. As he heard this all the way downstairs, he goes, "She opened the fucking box!"
And you see Maximilian Len says, we are all in for it then. The Knucklevy is a demon of misfortune. He says it seems that poor Marco was the first one to suffer from its misfortune.
But we were the he's all the way upstairs. He probably can't hear that. He's looking down, going.
Although he's leaning down, so he might. I mean, it's just a straight shaft up.
I lean in and I'm like, look, just where's the old man from last night?
He says, probably at the pub getting drunk. I'm afraid I laid into him pretty hard. Says, after all, he allowed someone, and he sort of looks at you with a scalding look, break into my office and steal something.
Yeah.
And he says,
Brenna has.
he says, he says, did you by any chance get the lockbox open?
Actually, I did.
He
Also,
says-
there's a hole in your wall that I need to repair.
He says, then you found my notes.
Yes, but they're in German, and I don't read German, so we will discuss this. First, though, that old man, he met the Great McDuck.
He says, yes, I know he did, as did 2 other women, very old women in the town. All 3 of them, as youngsters, were very attached to the Great McDuck for his time here. He told them stories, put on puppet plays. did magic tricks and other such things to entertain them.
Okay.
He says, I believe they are the only three still living who actually had a relationship with the man.
Did they happen to see how he moved that box?
Says, he simply carried it. So far as I can tell. But he says he was very forthcoming about it. Everyone that he met, he told them that there was a demon contained in the box. That it was imprisoned. And that it could not be locked and could not be contained. Therefore, he had to keep it with it until he could find someone who knew how to dispose of the demon. He was looking for someone known that he simply called the man.
The man?
Says that's the only thing that anyone can remember him calling this individual by. Someone called the man. I do not know if he ever found him because the Great McDuck was here, according to what we've heard, for roughly 2 months before he simply disappeared. No one knows where he went. He left the box behind, along with all of his other belongings.
You hear from all the way up.
You can hear that because it's a straight shot down. They're standing directly underneath of you, so you can probably hear their voices. Because you're listening, so.
He yells, Mr. Gabriel yells down, he goes, did he leave only the box or his possessions behind as well?
He left his possessions behind as well, but I do not believe anything else is left. Most of his possessions were probably lost or stolen. But the box is all that's left here.
I know it's been a great...
I look up and I ask him, do you think he went into the box?
And Maximilian says, I would not know.
I was going to make a leap in logic to make that connection, but Mr. Gabriel's just going to say it too for time's sake. Yeah, he yells down. He goes, 5 gets you 10. He went into the box to face the demon.
And you see Maximilian Len says, perhaps that's the only way the demon can be bested. Perhaps you have to go into its lair and fight it on its turf. Perhaps that's what this man, whoever he may be, would have suggested.
Okay. That's all well and good. But I'm not exactly in fighting shape. And you see Brenna kind of point to her arm that's just kind of hanging there.
Maximilian Lenz says, sit down for a moment. Then he claps his hands together and starts rubbing them.
He's about to pop it back in place.
And then pops your shoulder back in place. It's agonizing, but you get your hit points back.
Okay.
He just did a commoner heal spell on you.
You know, brute strength back in place.
So yeah, like Brenna lets loose a string of very unladylike curses.
Mr. Gabriel yells down. He goes, Brenna, once you have done cursing, what I want you to do... I'm right by you, by the way. I'm right next to you. You don't have to look up. I'm right next to you. Where you... Okay. He yells down. He basically says, when you're done once you're done yelling because you got your arm back in place, head on back up. Tell... what's his name to lock the doors. No one is to leave or enter or leave until you and me come back. I'm going to leave a message with the Foundation to start heading this way, just in case. And
to put the what would it be called? The fail-safe contingency, maybe.
I think
if it can't be transported, it has to be contained where it's at.
It's a protocol. Name it something protocol. I know I know it's a protocol, but it hasn't really been named in game.
It hasn't been named, and
so go ahead and give it a name.
Let's see. We will call it.
I would honestly call it the
lockdown.
No, not interested. Wait, think we have fucking nerds that work in the SCP Foundation. My guess is it's named after something historical or
Well, what would it be? The protocol?
the Gondor Protocol.
The Ganondorf Protocol.
Ganondorf? I was going to go with Gondor Protocol. Because the gates of Gondor have never been basically locked up.
Ganondorf was the bad guy that always came back, and the Link could never ever totally get the best of him.
What was the name of that castle that supposedly had a well that went straight to hell?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it.
Wow, this is actually something that I did not even know existed. What?
It's in Europe. There's a castle that supposedly has a hole that leads to hell underneath of the castle. Ghost Hunters International went there.
Yep.
But they couldn't prove whether or not there was a hole to hell underneath of it.
It's Hauska, Houska.
Okay,
Hauska.
call it the Hauska protocol.
The Hauska Protocol.
Yep.
You hear Mr. Gabriel get on the phone again with the SCP Foundation, and he goes, Hauska Protocol.
Not that we'll ever remember that, but...
Hey!
I will. I've got good information retention.
And he basically lays down exactly what they're planning to do while they wait for the SCP Foundation.
And you hear the guy on the other end says, "Are you sure that's a good idea, Gabriel? Going into the box where there is supposedly an actual demon contained, or it was contained before you let it out?"
He goes, my best guess is this thing is probably inside the box again. It has to go somewhere. And besides, it's not like recording equipment work with it. I offer myself and Miss Brenna as test subjects, which, by the way,
You've just been offered as a test subject.
That I have done this.
This is the second time you've done something like this.
You've just been offered up as a test subject.
Oh, He goes, "Sir, if this thing is going to get out of hand, I need to act now. It's not like the situation can get any worse.
Fam, we're already affected.
We're already affected. We might as well go in the box and see
One
if we
person
can..."
has died from it. And according to history, the other three times that it's been opened, the misfortunes only got worse, only progressed until they reached a crescendo, and then they stopped. But if something's not done, if history is correct, then quite a number of people will die.
And it's best we act now. And he goes, "And besides, put this in the report. When somebody opens the box, send someone in to punch the demon's nose in." Mr. Gabriel understands the situation, and he came into this to risk his life. He's going to get this thing, and he's going to go into the chest, and he's going to punch his nose in.
What are the test subjects called again?
D class.
And he says, "So you are now officially, the two of you, I'll make a note, are officially the first D class to be entered into this project, SCP
D class. Okay, I'll say this much. We are still technically what we are. D class is a specification for somebody who was on death row, but was given the opportunity to get off death row by
but you're doing the same thing they would be doing, though.
Right.
You are being test subjects.
Correct, but we are still going to have our names or retentions.
Yeah.
But essentially, we are being test subjects. And he goes, "Make a note that we are entering the box, and if we don't come out, then we went into the box."
And he says the hostile protocol has been put in place. He says they're on their way right now.
He goes, "All right, Miss Brenna, I would say go wake up his lazy ass, but I think he's still drunk."
Yeah, I was about to say, he's probably more of a liability at this point.
Yeah. See, this is what happens when you
miss out.
When you miss out. And it's understandable he's missing out.
I do check on him before we go up, though. I make sure that he's okay, and I grab,
He's alive. He's breathing. He's still asleep.
I grab Hephaestus on my way up, and I make my way up here.
And you find Mr. Gabriel up at the top floor where the box is at.
And he goes, "Are you ready?"
As I'll ever be.
And we
Tired
go.
of this bullshit.
And we go in. And I actually know where we're heading. I was given a little bit of a spoiler for this, so that's why I was like,
Now you know why that room. Why I told you to make that room.
Yep.
That place.
Come outside. Where are you?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
where?
here.
Oh, there you are. Okay, follow me.
But you didn't know it was going to be inside the box, though.
No, I didn't. We go into the box.
You drop down. It's like you're falling into an abyss. You have no idea how long you're actually falling. There's no sense of time. And then the next thing you know, you're standing in what looks like an enormous cavern and a forest at the same time. It's like there's a huge forest that is inside of a vast cavern, because you don't see a sky or anything. Everything above you is just complete blackness. There's no stars. There's no moon. There's no sense of weather. It feels like you're underground, but it looks like you're in a vast forest.
And it also looks like there is
A lake.
A lake. It's very dark.
Everything is dark. It's not pitch black. You can see the lighting is dim, but you have no idea what the source of the light is, because there's no sun, no moon, no stars. There's nowhere that the light is coming from, but somehow there is enough light that you can see dimly.
I apologize. Let me just make sure I have my video settings. Okay, I have it on the highest brightest, so we're still doing this in darkness because it's kind of like it sets the mood.
It's cold. It's silent. And it feels like you're underground, but it looks like you're in a forest.
And what's this we're currently looking at where we arrive?
You're standing on what looks like a pedestal. It looks like it is, and it does not look like a natural formation. It looks as though it was put in place eons ago by someone with craft of some sort. There are runes and markings all over it. It is made of stone. Well, it appears to be gray granite. And there are runes and markings, but the runes and markings mean nothing to you. You have no idea what they are. And it's raised probably 20 feet up in the air off the ground. And it's shaped like it's like the flat top of a ziggurat with stairs going down all the way around it, down to the forest floor.
So, Mr. Gabriel clicks on his light, and he looks out on the island.
And you see there is a lake there. Rather large lake. There is an island at its center that you can see. But you see no signs of any sort of life. And you don't hear anything. All is dark, all is silent. It feels like a cave, but it looks like a forest. It smells like a forest. But it doesn't sound like a forest, because there are no forest sounds. No crickets, no
Is it
night
snowing?
birds. No, it's not snowing. But it is cold. There's no feeling of any sort of weather. You feel like you're underground. There's no stars either.
I don't know if I can take those out. Off. Yeah, I can't get rid of the stars.
Okay.
But I did get rid of the clouds.
Yeah, but there are no. It's just complete blackness all around. You feel like you're in a cave, even though there's a forest. Even though you're in a forest.
Mr. Gabriel looks at you and he goes, "I've been rolling rather shittily tonight. How about you go first?"
Yeah, I'm the one who came under the influence of the demon to, yeah.
I'm just fucking. That's not what he says, but he like looks at you and goes, Do you want me to take point?
Let's let Heffy scout it out.
Alright. She sends Heffy, the little robot dog. What does the screen show us as it rolls?
It goes to the edge of the top platform. Is it capable of going downstairs?
Yep, it's a little dog.
It's a little dog.
So
It can go.
it bounds down the stairs of the ziggurat, gets down to the base of the stairs, and you see the floor of the cavern. It looks like there is snow, but it's not snow. It appears to be some form of ash.
That's disconcerting.
So this is where he is currently on the map, Tim. So,
And there is, behind him, you do see some sort of growth where you've got grass. You do see some sort of growth coming up out of the ash. Does the dog go up to it?
Yeah.
He goes up to it. It's not grass. It looks like some sort of lichen growing up out of the ash, and on closer inspection, at the top of each blade of grass where a seed pod would be in normal grass, there appears to be what appears to be a tiny human eyeball.
Well, that's freaky.
And the grass is sort of swaying in the wind, in the breeze, even though there is no breeze and no wind.
I'm gonna have Hephaestus kind of circle these things, and does the eyeball follow him?
The eyeballs do follow him.
considering this thing had to move, I'm just going to make a trail in the snow.
Mm-hmm. Which is actually ash.
Yeah.
I got that inspiration from the snow. It's like, what would be down here? It wouldn't be snow. Ash.
So currently that's its path.
Okay.
There are also trees there. Is the dog going to go take a closer inspection to the trees?
Yeah, well, why not? For science.
As the dog moves closer to the trees, you hear what sounds like music. It almost sounds like a choir, although very soft, very low. It gets louder the closer the dog gets, and as he gets close up to the trunk, you see the trunk of the tree is covered with what looks like tiny lipped mouths, which are singing a wordless tune. Just like a choir and singing without any sort of words.
Mr. Gabriel looks at Miss Brenda and goes, well, I guess punching this thing's nose in is going to be harder than I thought.
I look over at Mr. Gabriel and is like, you're not going to let me live that one down, are you?
He goes, you only had one job. Don't open the box.
Hey, I got more done in the 20 minutes after opening the box than we did in 2 days.
Hey, now you're down here.
Now we're down here with singing
chicken.
trees.
And a chicken. There's a chicken there, a random chicken.
Not really, though, but... So, where do you send the dog next? So this is,
The trees sing, the grass has eyeballs. There's the lake you're overlooking with an island out in its center.
Do you see what I'm doing, by the way, Sarah?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take over just watching. So go ahead and start moving it around the area. So it's up.
Okay.
Move the dog wherever you want it to go.
Just make sure you have a path that shows where it went, just in case, we lose track of it and we are able to follow it, technically.
Right. The water is not frozen, right?
No, it does not appear to be. From this vantage point anyway, it doesn't appear to be.
Okay. Shoot.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's a sword. That's a very large drop for it.
Oh, shoot. I thought it was only one thing. Okay. Never mind.
You break your dog.
You immediately kill your dog.
Stop!
This is a robot dog. He's just broken. He can be fixed.
Okay. So he's gonna come down this way.
Oh, that's all ash you're moving through.
To the,
Okay, is now overlooking the water itself right here.
You're now standing, overlooking the water, which doesn't appear to be very deep.
put an item frame inside of an item frame.
Yo, I heard you like item frame, so I put an item frame in your item frame.
Okay, so it doesn't look very deep.
You can see the bottom in any case, at least at this area where you're standing. You can see the bottom.
Okay. Does it look
Make an awareness check.
Up, over to...
Back to the dice roll mechanism. It's been giving you such wonderful rolls tonight.
Roll the 4.
10.
10?
Yeah.
Barely good enough. It wasn't a very harsh roll. Because you're able to see now that this pool is the source of the light that's lighting this entire area. And for some reason, you don't know how you know it. For some reason, the term moon pool comes to your mind.
Moon pool?
What, did I take something from a reference from a movie or something?
No. I was just having fun.
No. Just say, I thought I just made it up.
Okay, moon pool. Can I see anything moving on the island?
Not that you can see. You don't see any signs of movement anywhere. The water is placid, almost glass-like. Nothing is disturbing its surface anywhere. But you're not sure how the light is coming from the water. Whether it's coming from the bottom underneath of the pool underneath the water, or from the water itself.
Okay. I'm gonna have Festus reach down and touch the water.
Okay. He touches the water. The water is very cold, but beyond that seems to just be water. And it appears to be about 3 feet deep.
Is that depth kind of uniform the whole way across?
You can't tell the whole way across, but right here in the vicinity where you're at, it appears to be. And it appears that the floor of the pool is not stone, but appears to be something smooth. Almost as though it too was crafted the way the ziggurat you were standing on was crafted. This pool does not look like something natural, but something somehow possibly man-made. What is Gabriel doing this whole time?
Mr. Gabriel's just looking over the shoulder of the thing and